It is Sunday, the 9th of August, 2015. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, engaged in my alternative spiritual practice of protesting against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy, which include, but are by no means limited to, Unitarian Universalists misusing Canada's blasphemy law to cover up clergy abuse. Yeah, that sounds kind of strange, you know, in that Unitarians and Universalists are essentially supposed to be opposed to blasphemy laws, and yet have attempted to misuse Canadian blasphemy law to cover up and hide their own clergy abuse. Indeed, more specifically, such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. To say nothing of Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, also known as religious educators, or, you know, ordinary Unitarian Universalist lay people, lay leaders. On the 1st of June of 2012, I received an email from Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-André Coulombe, which made a variety of, you know, rather foolish accusations against me. You know, and it was a cease and desist demand letter. It was basically saying, you know, take down these blog posts. One of the most serious, well, the most serious accusation, and at the same time the most ludicrous and laughable, was the following accusation. Your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are defamatory. And it went on to say that they are so defamatory that they constitute the criminal act of blasphemous libel. So, you know, here is the Unitarian Universalist Association of Boston, which represents the Unitarian Universalist religious community not only in North America, but internationally to some degree, accusing me of violating Canada's blasphemy law on the pretext, and I will say false pretext, untrue pretext, unfounded pretext, to throw their own word back at them, you know, that I had allegedly made unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. Well, yes, I did make a few blog posts about Unitarian Universalists who were actually convicted of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and or rape. And I say and or because one of the Unitarian Universalists I blogged about could be properly described as a pedophile rapist. That's exactly how I did describe him in the blog post, because he was convicted of raping girls who were no older than 12 years old at the times that the rapes took place, and may have been as young as 6, but certainly, you know, somewhere between 9 and good day 12 years old when the rapes took place. One of the victims was a female family member who was most likely a granddaughter or grandniece or something, based on the age difference, because she was no older than 12, might have been as young as 9, or possibly even as young as 6, according to the newspaper reports. And he was in his mid-50s at the time that the rapes took place. So due to math, you're looking at a grandfather or great uncle or something raping or molesting preteen children. So anyway, nothing unfounded about my allegations at all. I'm talking to my camera. I document my protest.
Can I take a picture?
Absolutely.
I'm going to post it on Facebook.
Be my guest.
Crazy.
It is crazy, yeah. I call it bat shit crazy.
Wow, this is this is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you understand what it says?
No, not really, but the
Right.
rape and all this.
Yeah.
This is,
Well, essentially what it comes down to is the head office of this religious community, they're Vatican, they're not Roman Catholics, but, their number one, international office is accusing me of a crime. That crime is blasphemous libel. They're essentially accusing me of blaspheming against the religion for blogging about pedophiles and rapists. They're saying that my blog posts are false, unfounded, and that they're so defamatory that they constitute blaspheming against the church. But in fact, the blog posts are true. I blogged about people who were actually convicted and went to jail, so there's nothing...
From this church?
Not from this church locally. No, these were in America.
Okay.
But I live in Montreal. I've been protesting in front of this church even before this happened. So I just added it to my protest.
That's amazing.
I was already protesting clergy abuse, and then they basically tried to shut me up. They wanted me to take down blog posts. They wanted me to stop posting other blog posts. Don't worry, I haven't removed a comma or a period or anything. And I've posted more since. So yeah, thanks very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, by all means.
You have a Facebook page?
I have a personal Facebook page. I have a blog, which goes into, and I have a Twitter account. My name's Robin Edgar, if you want to look for it. Robin, like, Robin Hood, and Robin Williams and Edgar. But if you look for Montreal Unitarians, if you look for blasphemy Unitarians, you'll find it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, yeah, and be my guest to post that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm working on it. They're very slow learners, but yeah, you're welcome, yeah. So, here's a young lady who sees my protest and reacts most appropriately, basically saying it's crazy for Unitarian Universalists to try to cover up and hide pedophilia and rape by misusing blasphemy law. She didn't, totally understand exactly what was said on the signs before saying it was crazy, but I think, she got the gist of it. And I explained it to her in more detail. And yes, crazy is a very appropriate word to use to describe what the UUA did. It's batshit crazy, quite frankly. It's insane. Now, I'm not saying they're mentally ill. I'm not saying UUA President Peter Morales is a total nutcase. I'm not saying he's a delusional, psychotic idiot. But no, in the broader sense of the word crazy, in the sense of just doing something that's so incredibly stupid, so incredibly bizarre, that it can be reasonably described as crazy. Well, we're talking about that kind of crazy. And yes, it's kind of ironic because, Unitarian Universalists who try to discredit me, love to try to pretend that I'm suffering from some serious mental illness. I've been described as psychotic. I've been, in quotation marks, diagnosed with almost every mental illness under the sun by Unitarian Universalists who want to discredit me. I've been accused of being autistic and suffering from Asperger's syndrome and so on and so forth. I've never been diagnosed with any serious mental illness. And in fact, in the wake of being accused of being psychotic by the former minister of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, I actually underwent a psychiatric assessment by a Montreal psychiatrist who could find no traces of psychosis in me after examining me for a few hours over 2 occasions separated by more than a month. Good day, sir. Anyhow, we shall continue with our little monologue now. Sort of lost the thread of thought there, but yeah, essentially, this young girl, looks like she's in her late teens, possibly early 20s, but I'd say more likely, 17, 18, something like that, give or take a year. She sees the picket signs, sees the chalk slogans, and her first reaction is, Unitarian Universalists are crazy. And she wants to take a picture and post it to her Facebook page and so on. Are you the church maintenance guy?
I am not.
Okay, just thought you were waiting to erase the chalk slogan, but no worries. So I just thought I'd ask because in the past, the president of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, John Inder. Now I think of this guy, I don't know, he could be the new president. I don't recognize this fellow. I haven't really seen him before, which is why I asked if he was the church maintenance guy. But anyway, getting back to things, when I began putting out chalk slogans, specifically about Unitarian Universalists misusing Canada's blasphemy law to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, the president of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, tried very hard to persuade the SPVM to ticket me and to prevent me from making such chalk slogans. When he was unable to persuade them to, you're an asshole, sir, because if you check you're voting for Sue. Come and read. You're voting for Sue Montgomery? If you're voting for Sue Montgomery, you're an idiot. Because Sue Montgomery is involved in this. Sue Montgomery is complicit in Unitarian Universalist misuse of blasphemy law to cover up and deny such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, sir. So your first reaction to give me a finger is incredibly stupid. And I'll actually be protesting in front of the riding office soon. So this guy, walking, I don't think the camera caught it because he gave me the finger and he was quite close. And he probably didn't see the upper half of his body giving me the finger, but I see this guy coming towards me and he gives me the Trudeau salute. And as he passes, I see he's got "I vote Sue" on the back of his t-shirt. So what this guy's saying is, he's supporting Sue Montgomery in her bid to become a candidate for the New Democratic Party in NDP West now. Good day. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, isn't it? But I've actually been accused of blasphemous libel for blogging about Unitarian Universalist pedophiles and rapists. So.
Sunday school teachers?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just ministers, Sunday school teachers do it too. They've been convicted of such crimes. Not in Montreal. I'm talking about cases in the United States. But it was actually the American head office that made these accusations. I can't go down to Boston every weekend to protest, so I do it up here. Anyhow, if you want more details, you can either have a little chat or it's on the internet. If you search Unitarian Church of Montreal or Unitarians and blasphemous libel, etc., you'll find the blog posts and so on. So anyway, getting back to Sue Montgomery and her supporter there, whose first reaction to my protest was to give me the Trudeau salute, aka give me the finger. Yeah, let's look at this picket sign here. This picket sign, see, I see my sensor's overheating, so we can't do this too much longer. My picket sign says, preteen children have been raped by Unitarian Universalist clergy, to say nothing of UU Sunday school teachers, etc. But the Gazette's so-called justice reporter, Sue Montgomery, never reported UUA misuse of blasphemy law and clergy abuse cover-up legal bullying. Entirely truthful statement about the fact that when I asked the Montreal Gazette's justice reporter, Sue Montgomery, to responsibly report on the Unitarian Universalist Association's attempted misuse of blasphemy law to cover up and deny such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, well, she refused to do so. And I have very reasonable grounds to believe that Sue Montgomery also wielded her influence within the Gazette to make sure that the Gazette, no one else at the Gazette reported the story. To date, the Montreal Gazette has not said one word about the Unitarian Universalist Association falsely accusing me of blasphemous libel in an effort to cover up the story. Yeah, there you go. So that's it. This Sue Montgomery supporter just doesn't want to know the truth. He doesn't want to check his facts. So anyway, as I said to him, because Sue Montgomery is implicated in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy sexual abuse of the worst kind, specifically such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, and because Sue Montgomery has been actively involved in trying to shut down my protest here by misusing the Canadian Criminal Code and so on, I will be protesting against her being a candidate for the NDP. She hasn't been selected yet. There's about 5 or 6 potential candidates, and I just want the NDP voters to be aware that Sue Montgomery is more than a little bit problematic, and that her integrity is open to considerable question. And her respect for freedom of speech and the right to engage in peaceful public protest is also open to considerable question. On that note, we will wrap up this clip.